Well, thank you so much for joining back with us, keeping us with us here, and you can be part always of our conversation regardless of the social media you want to be a part of. That is at Smart 24 TV. And now, yesterday it was a public holiday the day before, and that was when the country was celebrating Janan Luwum, who is highly also respected by the Christian community. And now we're going to be looking at how the country remembrance of him affected the economy at that particular time. That was a day yesterday. Taxi operators were recording a low turn-up of the passengers. It being a public holiday, we tracked down the city and also interacted with transport operators around Kampala city. Most of them didn't have business because of the same public service. Workers did not work and some schools did not attend because it was a public holiday. Let's have more on this. We do return to discuss mostly on how public holidays are meant to whether disrupt, do good, do harm to the economy, and how money comes in on a daily basis, how it's being affected by that. Take a look, do return.
Jagenda, Vice Chairman Kasanga Stage, who doubles as the vice spokesperson of Old Taxi Park, said that it being a public holiday, the turn-up of passengers was low.
Nayenga ekisenzo okuleta obuzibu si lwakuba nti abantu tebakoze.
The problem is that many people working in public offices haven't worked today and schools have not operated. Today is more or less a weekend because during the weekends, public offices and schools do not operate. Generally, Ugandans do not take public holidays seriously.
Naye ng'okutwaliza awamu bannayuganda balabika ekyennaku enkulu baakivaako. Kubanga bw'ogenda mu butale gye bali bakola, naye ffe ng'aba transport mu biseera bino eby'abayizi nga basoma tusinga kutambuza bayizi, tusinga kutambuza bakozi ba gavumenti.
The government fully reopened the country and taxis were allowed to fully operate at full capacity. The transport fares have slightly remained high, ranging from 3,000 shillings to 5,000 shillings. Waiswa also explains the different transport fares. He went ahead to request the government to address the prices of the fuel.
Kituufu byaddayo mu nnomo yaabyo tutuuza abantu basatu, naye kyakabi nti era naffe kituluma okulaba nga emiwendo giringa egiri waggulu, naye naffe tetulina kyakikolera kubanga naffe gavumenti tetuyambye kukwata ku bbeeyi y'amafuta.
Transport went back to normal. It hurts us that fuel prices are still hiked but have nothing to do. Everyday fuel prices rise.
Yebbeeyi gye tukyaliko. Ffe okuva wano ogenda e Kansanga tutwalira 1,500, naye era olaba kale bw'omba omuntu omukyajinza 1,500 okutuuka Kabalagala olaba nga kinene, naye naawe toyina kyakikolera kubanga oli mu bizinesi. Ekiditamininga emiwendo gy'ebintu byonna gandibadde mafuta. Tusaba gavumenti eveeyo eregulatinge emiwendo gy'amafuta. Naffe tujja kulaba engeri gye tugenda tuddiramu mu basaabaze baffe. Kuba tekigasa okuseera omusaabaze ate nga ggwe oba okusala ku bbeeyi y'omusaabaze ng'ate ggwe eri amafuta gali waggulu. Ojja kuba naawe tofunamu. Ekitegeeza
Semakula Godfrey, stage manager Kansanga and taxi driver, appreciates the government for renovating the taxi park, but also asks the government to lower the taxes imposed on the taxi drivers.
Naye okusookera ddala nja kwebaza gavumenti okuba nti yatukolera paaka eyo yali mbi nnyo okubeera nti enkuba bw'etonnya ebisooto nga bingi, naye eby'emirimu entambula yaagyo okola tukola naye teginnaba kututambulira bulungi kubanga.
I would like to first thank the government for working on our tax park, but the challenge, we are no longer making enough profits because the fuel prices are high, and so I urge government to reduce on these prices since even the taxes on our businesses are high.
Omaze okunywa amafuta ga mutwalo nga gumu 12,000 kati bw'ogenda eri okuzza emmotoka edda nkalu ng'abantu basaabaze baki batono kati ogenda okunoonya ssente z'olunaku z'onoowa mukamaawo nazo zinoonyeza mbugubu. Kale entambula y'ebyemirimu n'ebeera nga tennaba kuba nnungi, tukyali mu kunyigirizibwa. Ne tusaba gavumenti ekendeeze ku muwendo gy'amafuta, kubanga kati tulina emisolo gya mirundi kumpi ng'ena.
16th February is a public holiday in honor of the former Church of Uganda Archbishop who was killed during then President Idi Amin's reign on February 16th, 1977. And this year's celebration was in Kololo Airstrip, and it was under the theme Hope Beyond Affliction.
And that is taxi drivers and some citizens raising concerns on how public holidays really greatly affect them continuing to make money, but also that in conjunction with the fuel prices that are remaining high, even when the minister promised citizens that these would go down within a week, but it's coming to a month now, and the public is greatly affected and being concerned, because when fuel still remains high, that means most of the people are going to be spending a lot on it, and not only those who are driving or riding on a border, but this is also affecting so many businesses, because I mean you have to put in fuel to go purchase something, or it's even related and being reflected on the buying of other goods. The soap right now, people are claiming like if fuel prices are high, I mean why can't we raise the other commodities, because some commodities are being transported in around by other vehicles, which again consume the fuel. Away from that, the argument continues around how public holidays are meant to disrupt and also may be a sign of shifting the growth of the economy. The claims are that you know, with the shifting of public holidays, this could help grow the economy. Why? Because on public holidays, most public servants do not go to work, number one. Public holidays, most people claim, you know, it's a public holiday, I have to sleep, relax, I don't have to do any productive work or any productivity. Where is that going to leave the daily routine of how we make money? For example, hotels, maybe restaurants, or any other entertainment places could be making money at that time, at the public holiday. I mean, when I was coming to work, most of the people were coming out of bars, so it being given a working day, they could not mind because they had a relaxation period. So you could go happen, you could go to the hotel, you could go spend your time with your families. So the places that are bound to make money during public holidays, maybe are hotels, a saloon, yes, saloon, gyms, that other sectors, even the entertainment can make money. But most people plan a lot of activities such as long weekends. A weekend, we're not talking about weekends here, because a weekend, it's a weekend. From maybe Friday, some people break off work from Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the weekend. They could happen, they could go with their families to any maybe tour around. But away from that, also local tourism might benefit as Ugandans maybe spend long time in relaxation. You may find that you've got a busy schedule during your day-to-day time, that is especially on working days, Monday to Friday, and something happens, maybe for a one day. Mostly it's, public holidays are meant for one day. You could find it's only within, I can say, some days when there are more than 2 days or 3 days, that could be seasonal days. But public holidays, just a single 24 hours, you can imagine what activities happen that collect a lot for the economy. Just imagine the taxis, you know, most of the taxi drivers there and the people were telling us how they mostly transport public servants, they mostly transport students, mostly transport people going to different offices. And it happens that these offices are now closed for 24 hours. That means if the taxi driver or if a border was making maybe 100,000 a day, it's just an estimation really. I'm not saying that's small money or less money, but if the, okay, 500, let us speak big. A taxi, you're operating in Kampala City, for example, on a daily walkover back home, you're walking away with 500,000 shillings. And on a public holiday that comes along during a working day, working hours, you're only able to make even not half of that, but quarter, if not a third of that money, around maybe 150. That means that the money collected or the money in circulation for that particular day in some sectors, especially like transportation, is going to be less. So where does that leave our revenue collection if we're to highlight onto revenue collection? Because we have people who bank money every day, every after reaching at some evening point. Some businesses, I think most businesses, even retailers, even SMEs, you know, head to the bank where you bank money and store there some amount. But look at it, a scenario where you can't, you know, reach the amount that you do on a daily basis. That means the falls or even bad business activities will not boost at all, will remain bad. So I don't know what to say really, whether to urge government, because these are public holidays, but how can we make money even when it is a public holiday? How are you going to, because we know you could be leaving, you have calendars on our phones, so the phones highlight maybe like yesterday, that is 16th celebration of John and Luwum, the Archbishop, and maybe some other day they will put for you Heroes Day. 3rd June is coming up, they will put for you Martyrs Day. We have another coming up shortly, that is 8th March, Women's Day. So you already know it's Women's Day. For example, let's talk about Women's Day that is going to be coming up shortly. How, as business people, as business community, how are we going to prepare prior the public holidays? And we stop complaining about how people have not worked, I have not made money. How I have not interacted with people, money has not come in. Can we plan prior the days and know, okay, can I shift my activities? I mean, if you're a taxi driver, this is going to be Women's Day. Women might stay home. Some of them, most of the women really are, you know, resilient. They may not just stay home and relax, unless those working in public servant. But for a business person, business woman is going to go still wake up and hit the road. And how are we going to integrate interests of women and make sure we tap into the opportunity that comes along with that? There are many ventures that you can really look at right now. If you're watching me, what are you going to be selling? You can be a student. Remember, on 8th March, you won't be going to school. What are you going to be doing? Are you going to sit on that TV the whole day? Are you going to go playing that football the whole day? No. So, dear parent, when your child come back, pass on the knowledge. First of all, for the students, what is that you can do to embrace or to entice maybe your mother or a guardian woman? It could be a woman is your guardian, or something someone who takes care of you. You can try to do something good for them. In turn, you never know what comes around the next day. When you make someone happy, that happiness, it's natural, it's a natural feeling, is bound to be passed on to you the next day or any next time. You might maybe do anything really that you think your mother, your aunt would love to see or would want to hear, would want to really touch. And after that, I'm sure the next day, you won't walk away from that home without enough upkeep or any upkeep that has never been given to you. But when you come, that is for students from school when they return. But for you as a parent or as a guardian, or because we are parents, some of you stay home, some of us go to work, from where you're watching really, what are you going to do to make sure that we help each other and tap into as we make money, or for example the Women's Day that will be coming as a public holiday? What do women love? What do we embrace? You might find, you know, your friends, maybe someone wants like swimming, maybe someone likes roses. Maybe you can go downtown and purchase in bulky right now, because you know when the days are coming closer, prices are going to, you know, go high. are going to be risen. So what you have to do is you have to purchase everything you want for this particular week or these particular times before the week of Women's Day, because things for women, that is lassos, it can be scarves, it can be bags or shoes. They are not going to be sold at a cheaper price compared to how they are now. So it's better for you to purchase them now when they're cheaper, so that you can resell. You can resell to your friends, you can resell to your neighbors when that time comes. And away from that, just now we're going to be looking at how international or SMB across border has got to have on us. We're going to look at SMB cross-border right now. First, we look at Kenya crossing over Kenya to Ethiopia, where they are jointly fighting terror at common borders. Now, Ethiopia and Kenya have reached an agreement to jointly fight the terror threats along the commonly borders that of a state-afflicted Fana Broadcasting Corporation reported on Tuesday on this one. They signed an agreement to start a joint within a month to curb the reach of Somalia's Al-Shabaab and Ethiopia's OLF Shena designated terror. And the details coming up will be, we're following a meeting between Ethiopian Federal Police Commissioner General Dalmash and also the Kenya's Inspector General of Kenya National Police Service, Hilary Mutiabai, in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. But the two sides held discussions on security issues of mutual understanding and reiterated to boost security cooperations to fight cross-border terrorism and ensuring that peace, stability at their borders. Fana, well, reports around there. But just to highlight briefly on this one, a few months ago, LE Mine rebel group, that is Ethiopian Oromai region, threatened to cut off a major highway that links Ethiopia to Kenya. In this could be directly, in this trade was going to be directly affected, vice versa, from Nairobi to also Addis Ababa. So you can imagine a terror activity there where OLM group was threatening to cut off the Kenya route connecting Kenya to Ethiopia. I mean, trade was going to be halted down. And like we are seeing here, a lot of designated discussions on issue of mutual concerns and security operations are being highlighted. Because when security is contact and there is peace, why not? We can still have trade, and because Kenya is our just our immediate neighbor here. In case of any en route that cannot allow it to trade effectively, that means the country here will still be affected because we are also trading with them. But moving forward, let us now look at how AIRBNB city travel almost at a pre-pandemic level. Only accommodation booking platform in AIRBNB says travelers are starting to return to cities after staying away since the last start of the pandemic. Now, globally, the number of night books in cities in the last 3 months of the last year matched 2019 levels, lodging in a website that is saying that is according to BBC Africa. In the US, urban bookings have fully rebounded, and the booking company reported about 55 million US dollars. That's around 40.6 million euros profit for the fourth quarter. Cities were also important destinations for AIRBNB's business during the pandemic. Non-urban areas have proven more popular as people focus on the outdoor activities free of crowds. Bookings in the urban areas are also starting to grow, however, accounting to a 49% nights revealed to 3 months to +1 January, the company said, that is the AIRBNB. While traveling to cities are not yet entirely recovering from 2019 levels, we are seeing the level of travelers returning. The company is saying in its report, conjunction with the BBC Africa. But when you look at the company expectations, at least the night booking for the first 3 months of 2022, they exceed exceeded the pre-pandemic levels for the first time. The biggest change of travel, they said the pandemic driven a lot of work to remote areas, sharpening business during the explosion in a very, exploration in a very long time. Now, in the nearly quarter of the nights booked in the last 3 months, they were 4 only longer than they had booked earlier. This is a boom for them there, but also what I can relate it here with, like if we're to look at what is happening at Entebbe Airport right now. This could be everywhere really, but some countries are still reporting a low turn-up of passengers onto their passenger flights, simply because some areas are still taking it, I don't want to say that they are taking COVID-19 very, very seriously, but at some point, COVID-19 has disrupted quite a lot has posed a lot of damage compared to other countries. The damage that COVID-19 has posed onto a country like Uganda could be way, way different on what the damage it has caused to countries maybe from South Africa or to country like Egypt. So with the difference of our geographical locations, with our different economies, with our different income status and our governance, really COVID-19 posed an inequality there, and it indeed had to combine all this together, if not worsened it, maybe some opportunities came up and we are able to roll onto that. But lastly here we have how much Russian money is there in the UK. Do you know how much money, Ugandan money, is there somewhere in other countries? But away from that, let us look at how much Russian money is there in UK, or there is in UK. Many wealthy individuals and companies from Russia around the world are investing legitimately in the UK finance and property markets, but the anti-corruption organization Transparency International has identified more than 5 billion euros of property bought in the UK, with that saying that suspicious wealth, 1/5 of which has come from Russia. A home officer from there said that the UK has seen a significant volume of Russian or Russian-linked illicit finance, which has spent one thing like luxury property, cars, school fees, among others. Sometimes the donations to cultural institutions, which allows individuals to launder their reputation. But when it comes to property, with which it can be owned through companies rather than the names of individual information, sometimes does not easily oversee the company ownership database, and about 94,000 properties where the registered legal owners were overseeing in the overseas company. That was a list being owned by the Russian companies. But it was possible that many people purchases could ultimately be owned by Russian individuals using companies based overseas in places such as the British Virgin Islands. The scale of the use of these companies was revealed as a major link of the most 12 million documentations known for the Pandora Papers in October 2021. But it was exposed that hidden wealth, tax avoidance, and also, in some cases, money laundering by some of the world's richest and powerful people was happening. But researchers also identified more than 700 offshore companies which owned the UK reporters, and found that 5% of them were owned by the Russian citizens. So you can briefly entail why there is such money, Russian money, in the UK. Rich Russian people, smugglers, laundry, according to money laundering, according to the repository, that have contributed all that way through. SNB continues shortly after the break. We continue to drive your business, and driving our business is your business. Stay around.